Talking USC football, we got Matt Lowry on the line. You can join him and the rest of the staff there at Conquest Chronicles. It's the SB Nation platform for USC athletics. All right, Matt, in terms of everything that you can gather from what you saw firsthand, what you read, what you worked on, information that came out of camp, who flashed? Who are those players that maybe made up some ground and put themselves in a good position to get playing time or become impact players in 2019?
Well, one player to keep an eye on, and he's really been impressing during spring camp, is Marquis Step. He was a freshman last year. They say he's a redshirt freshman, although I have to check the redshirt rule on how that works out, because I thought he was redshirted last year, and then they burned his red shirt due to the depth issues at running back late in the season. But Step, he's actually pretty quick in person for as big as he is. Apparently he slimmed down a little bit, but he's a big back. He got some speed, as you saw in the spring showcase. Had a huge opening and just darted through a wide open hole. Who else was looking good? With everyone's talking about Carr, everyone's talking about Stephen Carr, if he looked healthy, if how healthy he's going to be. He actually looked pretty good in camp as well. He missed, I believe, he missed a week due to the flu, which is something that's been going around. But he's looked pretty impressive. Drake Jackson, who a lot of people were comparing to Rasheem Green and Leonard Williams. He looked amazing all camp, and you saw it during the spring showcase, especially with the one-handed interception that he had, where he just snatched the pass out of midair with one hand and just ran down the sideline with the ball in the air with one hand. So he's going to be a treat to watch. I think he'll get some pretty good playing time on the defense this year. But a name that hasn't really come out like that, and this is going to be a new name that people are going to have to get accustomed to. If you're an old school USC fan, then it's not really a new name, but that's John Jackson III. As everyone knows, his father, John Jackson, who used to play receiver at USC, Jackson has looked really impressive. Like he's been absolutely the name that's been popping out, where you've been hearing about Vaughns and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Pittman and Williams. John Jackson III is another guy you can slot in there, because how the way he's performed this spring, he's going to see some pretty good playing time during the season, and probably work his way into the rotation come fall camp.
Matt, if there's a position that seems to be well fortified, it's the one you just mentioned from a depth standpoint, but most likely from quality, that the wide receiver spot seems to be the strongest unit on the field for me, unless I'm misreading something. As you look across on the defense and the offense, what would be the other positions that you would feel really good about right now?
One of the other positions I would feel really good about in terms of quality would be the defensive line. And the reason I say that is because Coach Chad K, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name, but Chad K has really made an emphasis of being physical. And you hear the emphasis of, and I think I mentioned it on the last show that you had me on, you've always heard the emphasis of defensive line coaches going, you guys got to lose some weight. You guys got to slim down. Chad K's actually told them, look, bulk up a little bit, grab some weight, because more weight on the line will actually help the defensive line. And you're seeing it out there with their defensive line. They've looked really effective. They've somewhat disrupted the offense in certain amount of times. They have some athleticism, some good rotation, good depth. Almost everyone, just about everyone's healthy. Everything that you can ask for. And I think that's going to be the most important thing with this defense, is the production of the defensive line. Because if the defensive line this year can get a lot of production, if they can get a disruption in the backfield, I think it will make life a whole lot easier for the guys in the secondary, which is going to be a depleted and a somewhat of an inexperienced secondary, and should help the linebackers a lot as well. So
Matt,
I
I'm
would
going to
say,
give this a name a shot here. Chad Kauhahaha. I
okay.
think that's what we're looking at. We got a lot of H's and A's working there, a ton of them. You got like 2, 4, 6, 8 consecutive H's and A's. But he comes in from Boise State, having done a
Yes.
fine job there with their defensive line, and hired in December to take over at USC. I also looked up Marquis Steps uh, game log from 2018. He played 3 games, so he would fit under that 4-game limit for the redshirt rule. So got his most carries there against Notre Dame in the final. 5 carries, 23 yards for Marquis Step, who's busting out here and showing a little bit of a flash and making a name for himself in USC camp. So everything wrapped up at USC camp for the spring. We look forward to the August session. So Matt, before we leave you, anything else we need to run down here?
No, that's about everything. I know Graham Harrell, he mentioned that he'll talk to the quarterbacks to let them know where they stand going in the fall camp. And right now, it's just watching out to see who's going to be that starting quarterback. But right now, all signs are pointing to it's JT Daniels' job to lose. But whoever they throw in there, is going to be tailored towards them to simplify everything anyway. So that's the latest I have on that.
Matt Lowry, Conquest Chronicles, SB Nation. Please join him and the rest of the crew right there covering USC athletics. Matt, appreciate you stopping by as always.
Thank you for having me.